$5.65 billion. That's the CS2 market cap this week, and it's up 1.36% from last. And that's while China's on vacation, celebrating the new year. The West was finally given the keys to drive the car, and to be honest, we didn't crash it.
And now for our Counter-Strike report. New York's very own Mike Water.
Welcome back to DE News. I'm your host, Mike Water tonight. Since we already went over the market cap at the beginning, let's take a look at the weather instead. First off, weather warning here on DE Vertigo. It is extremely harsh conditions outside. Go outside only if necessary. High winds and the potential of up to 3 feet of snow in the next 12 hours. If you are rotating to A, don't go on those edges. They might be a little bit slippery. Bringing us over to dust 2. It's hot. 97 degrees. A lot of fucking dust. Honestly, rather be here in Vertigo, to be honest with you. Now over up here to Cobblestone. 46 degrees. Miserable. Kind of raining, kind of not. You don't know if you need an umbrella. You don't know if you need a jacket. Purgatory on Earth. And lastly, Ancient. It's raining. And that's all for the weather today. Let's get into the real good stuff. And the obvious big story this week is going to surround cases in general. Not just one of them, but one of them started the story. Popular live streamer Trainwreck opened up a fuck ton of CSGO Weapon Case 1s on his stream in search of the Scar Pattern AK. And the market lost their mind. Straight climb, straight up that chart from 111 up to 220, back down to 150 as of this morning, down 7% in the last 24 hours. The faster they rise, the harder they fall. And after all that, the Weapon Case 1 is just sitting 15% up from where it was 7 days ago. It does, however, seem to be consolidating, so it does look like feelings and emotions are starting to subside. But the cases that were also discontinued, but weren't even opened by Trainwreck, were actually the ones who benefited the most. Weapon Case 1's little brothers, 2 and 3, well, they had insane, fantastic gains on the week, both around 50% up from where they were 7 days ago. And that's including this morning's sell-off. There's a lesson in there somewhere. Only 2 cases remain in the green this morning. Those are the Winter Offensive case and the Broken Fang case. The Winter Offensive case is up 16% in the last 24 hours. Everything else is pulling back, but that's fine. Pullbacks are healthy, and we'll get into that in a moment. But cases are, of course, only half the story, because within every case are a fuck ton of skins, and those saw pretty massive gains over the week as well. Your top 2 movers are members of the MP9 famous quartet, the Dark Age and the Setting Sun, which both have over 30% gains in the last 7 days. But the case hype is very indicative in the top movers of this week. From the top 20 skin movers alone, we have members from the Winter Offensive case, Weapon Case 1, Weapon Case 2, Weapon Case 3, Esports 2013 Winter, Falchion, Riptide, and Broken Fang, and CS20, and Cobblestone, and Cash. And I probably missed one. That's a lot of collections and a lot of cases moving simultaneously, and it doesn't really tell us as to which one will be the next target. But for cases, the reason why is very easy to see. You see, when cases spike in price, fewer people open them because they do have other options in terms of substitutes, right? If the Falchion case goes from 150 to 250, I just might not buy that anymore. The demand goes away for it because the Snakebite case exists and it's 80 cents. And odds are I'm gonna get a shitty Battle Scarred Blue from either of them, so I'll just pay 80 cents instead of 250. Because of those cases going up, less of those skins are entering the market, creates scarcity, price goes up. You know how it goes. Now, if you want to sound fancy, this is called the supply shock. The cost of the raw material went up, so there's fewer produced goods being put out on the market, so that existing supply becomes more valuable as a result. It's why sometimes oil prices spike, and sometimes your groceries cost more than they did just 3 days ago. Now your oil is cases, and your groceries are AK-47 factory new skins. And when those prices increase, it opens up the doors for a lot of manipulation, because the prices of those skins have not calibrated to reach their new floors yet, which means that even if the manipulation doesn't go into full effect right away, they'll still be up because it hasn't even moved to its new floor yet. Smart money saw the gap, and it's why so many other cases than Weapon Case 1 are the ones flying in price right now. Speaking of which, the supply shock thing we just talked about, as we just showed, it's not just a CS2 thing. It's an oil thing. It's a housing thing. It's a Pokemon card thing. Whatever it may be, it's not just this market. And I'm thinking about launching a new series called Declassified, in which we take actual, realistic, real-world economic concepts, and I'll apply it to CS2 so you can get yourself ahead of the game before you even leave this market and move on to bigger and better ones. So not only do you learn about skins and how to beat this market, but when you leave this market, how to beat every other market. Because what people fail to realize is that CS2 actually has one of the most beautiful markets on earth. All the dynamics are there for you to see in real time. No Fed, no regulation, global economy, just supply, demand, and psychology. And it operates in real time and it operates with real money. So there's stakes on the line. If you like the idea of that, drop a comment, give me some feedback, let me know. Now let's go back to the data. Top cases open this week on the active side are Fever, Dreams and Nightmares, and Kilowatt. Kilowatt being up there is a little bit of a surprise. The other two, those are mainstays. They're usually the top two. But with statistics like these, it becomes more and more apparent that either Recoil or Revolution are probably the most likely to be discontinued in the next rotation if they do actually take one out. On the discontinued side, it should be intuitive. Snakebite is up there because it's one of the cheapest cases at the moment. And surprisingly, Chroma 2 and Danger Zone. Now, the Snakebite being number 1 on this list is actually great news for us, and I'll explain why. The AK-47 slate, which is something the community has been watching over the last few weeks, is one of the main reasons people open this case. And it's a purple, so it has a 1 in 6 chance of being dropped. So the case price rises because people want the slate. The more cases we open, the more the price of the case goes up, which then raises the floor of the slate. The increase in the slate's price makes it more desirable, which makes people open more cases, and the cycle repeats. Around and around and around. So if you were excited about Declassified, that is what we call reflexivity. George Soros, yep, that one, built his entire career off of this concept. And it's actually very easy to see in the context of this market in particular. And it's why the Snakebite is such an amazing case to hold. And every day, every week, the slate just goes up. No pumps, just steady, quick, safe gains. Time for the fun stuff. If you think you know it's going to be up this week, put your money where your fucking mouth is. The window is open for fantasy on CS2Liquid.com or MikeWater9.com. You have $500 and 10 picks to pick any skin in the game. Spend your cash, lock in your picks before the window closes tonight, and the winner will be the person with the highest percentage gain after the week is over. The winner, I will give you a premium code to MikeWater9.com. As I said, last week was a test week. Congratulations to Sam, you won by cheating. So well done. Very proud of you, Sam. I got the market mover index up and running for the first time around 20 minutes before filming this, and it looks pretty good. You could filter out liquidity, you could filter out stat track, different wares, knives, cases, and see whatever you want, top 50 movers in each category. And now, for the even more fun stuff, we are going to do the Arbitrage Play of the Week. This Play of the Week, of course, is sponsored by UUSkins, the best marketplace in CS2 right now. The cheapest prices on the market, verified direct access to the Chinese marketplace, 24/7 support, and a guaranteed delivery within 10 hours or your money back. The community absolutely adores this app. Just ask around and you'll see for yourself. Scan this QR code right here if you want to see the website for yourself. And you're going to need to, because this play is very good. It is the AK-47 Phantom Disruptor in field tested condition. Right now it currently goes for around $6.50 on UUSkins and sells for around $8.75 on Steam. After tax, that's roughly a 16% gain on the dollar. And all you have to do is buy it here and sell it there. Which means that if you do the math out, your Armory pass is only worth $13.50 and your Armory stars are only worth 34 cents a piece. And as the Armory heats up in anticipation of discontinuations, prices go up and your chances of profit grow even more when your basis starts at 34 cents per star. Now we're going to get into last week's watch list, in which I called the Desert Eagle Code Red, minimal wear, the M4 Nightmare, minimal wear, which are both from the Horizon case, and the AWP Fever Dream in Factory New, which comes from the Spectrum collection. Now I'm going to be honest with you, I still like all three of these plays right here. The M4 stayed steady. The AWP saw a test last night. We will see how it recovers supply-wise and if it will continue to go up, but it did increase around 10%-ish over the last 24 hours. And the Code Red has dipped a little bit, but if anything, that creates a better buying opportunity for us. Like I said, China seems to be keen on moving minimal wear skins in this rotation. I do have some theories as to why. I will make a video on that. Like I said, it requires a full video length for me to discuss it in depth to the degree in which I want to. So stay tuned for that. But there is a very nice pattern that's very easy to see once you're able to identify it. So this week, I'm staying with those, and I'm going to continue my conviction on the plays I called in DE News China. I think that pattern is too telling, and even if it doesn't go up immediately, it will eventually go up because of these patterns of retesting and testing, which means that supply is somewhere in someone's inventory, and they're just waiting for the perfect time to strike. AK Rat Rod and minimal wear. It saw a nice, beautiful, giant dip this morning in Factory New and minimal wear as well. The Factory New one is too expensive to take a risk on. However, the Rat Rod is around $13 a minimal wear right now, and it was around $17 last night. And if we look at that chart, the supply went sharply back up, which means that the retest did not go through to the way in which they planned, and they will have to try again a couple weeks in the future. So you will have to hold the Rat Rod for a little bit longer, but don't worry, I still believe this one will do very well in the long term. If you did buy one and you're selling right now for a loss, that is natural selection. I do not care about you and I hope you lose more money in the future. Continuing on that, the Galil AR Sandstorm, in minimal wear specifically, and the rest of the Winter Offensive Case skins in general. I think they'll all honestly be pretty decently off, especially with the gains they saw today as well. They seem to be targeting that case in particular. I will, however, continue my conviction on the Armory and the plays that reside within it. And that is because we realistically have until March 2nd to buy things in the Armory. For the graphic design collection, which was discontinued on the 31st, its discontinuation was announced on the 10th of September last year. March 10th is a Tuesday. March 31st is a Tuesday. It lines up perfectly with Valve's update schedule, which means if you want your items to be tradable and marketable on that day of discontinuation, you need to buy before March 2nd. Right now, Train is up on the week 3%. Overpass, 5. Sport and Field is the same, break even, so that may present the best buying opportunities for you. However, the best play is to just diversify. A skin here, a skin there, and a skin over there. That's going to make sure at least whatever happens, you'll be covered. Now, I also think you need to tune your expectations for this Armory rotation because a lot of the rotation money is already priced in. The graphic design collection saw such a stark increase when it was discontinued because people did not know if things were going to be discontinued in the first place, which is why you saw 2.5x's, 3x's in time, because people were not anticipating this. But they are, however, now very much anticipating it. So while your guns won't go down when things get discontinued, they're just not going to 2.5x, 3x. You have to taper your expectations down. 1.5x, 2x, that should be reasonable. That's a 50% gain. If you're not happy with that, fuck off. There's literally no other market that does that for you in a day. Consider taking up poker, maybe. If you want a good thesis on a couple of good plays, watch my video from yesterday in which I explained the math behind the Train 2025 collection and why I believe it will be the most lucrative regardless if it gets discontinued now, 6 months from now, or a year from now. The souvenirs in that one also look pretty good right now because Train is not in the active pool and it won't be for the next 6 months at least. So in the next 6 months, maybe those souvenir cases rise a little bit and so do the skins within it. That is more of a speculative play, but it is something I find interesting. And that is all for DE News this week. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to lock in your fantasy picks, and I'll do mine on Twitch tonight when I live stream around 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will confirm the time in the pinned comment below. Remember, most affiliate signups on CS2Liquid.com or MikeWater9.com will receive $150 spending credit on UUSkins on me. It is a tie right now with 8 signups in first place. So if you think you can do better, get to it. And if declassified sounds like something you want to see in the future, let me know. I'm probably going to make one regardless of what you guys say, but it'll probably determine if I make a second one or not. Thank you all for an amazing week. The market's alive, the gains are here, and China ain't even back yet with their fucking New Year envelopes. See you all soon. Cheers.